Steve thinks all bottled water tastes the same.
Oh my gosh, it's too early to divorce him.
Of course not. But do I want the beach house?
Of course you do. Oh my gosh.
Be the zombie. Rip off arms, eat brains, indulge your appetite for destruction, and live like you're already dead. Stubbs the Zombie and Rebel Without a Pulse. In stores now. Rated M for mature.
My retina!
Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? When people typically think of zombie games, they typically think of, Left 4 Dead, or Call of Duty Zombies, or Walking Dead, or Dead Island. There's a bunch of zombie games out there, but no game really does it like Stubbs the Zombie does. Because, well, in this game, you play as a zombie. Now, when you play as a zombie in another game, it's typically, a multiplayer thing where you play as a zombie, the other player plays, as a human. It's more of a side feature to play as a zombie, but of course in Stubbs the Zombie it's the main thing, and I would say for the most part this game doesn't really take itself too seriously. I mean, there's obviously a comedic tone throughout the game, but before I get ahead of myself, let's just talk about the gameplay. And to be honest, it's somewhat simple. I mean, you play as a zombie, so you're obviously going to be moving very slowly, but to compensate for that, the game gives you a lot of options to, eat brains and shit. Main point of the game is to start a zombie uprising. The game sends you through different levels, and the main point of the levels is to eat brains and basically build up your zombie army. Of course, level through level, it's going to get harder, but obviously the more brains you eat, the more teammates you have. Now let's just talk a little bit about the story. So the game takes place in the 1950s, and you're a zombie running around a punch bowl. And the game is set in the 1950s, but this city is basically set in the future. So think of Fallout 4, like a comedic, futuristic 1950s. But of course, it's not really like Grand Theft Auto where it's open world. The game has, I would say, structured levels. But yeah, no, the game's set in a futuristic city, and of course, cops have laser guns and stuff like that. The game's weird, I'll just say that. Now, one thing that I do want to bring up about Stubbs the Zombie is the 4 abilities. Now, you obviously unlock these throughout the game, but like I said before, the levels get harder. Obviously, people have guns, and when you get shot, your health slowly dies. And like I said, you move like a zombie, but these 4 abilities obviously compensate for that. I'd say one ability that I like a lot is just taking off a hand and controlling another person. I would say that brings a lot of diversity to the gameplay. Like, let's just say a cop is shooting at you, you just take off your hand to control the cop, and yeah, now the game's become a little bit of a shooter. And this is going to be kind of weird, but there's the fart ability. If things get a little bit too crowded, just fart, and yeah, the enemies will die. God, that sounds fucking weird. And one other ability I would like to talk about is because you're a zombie, your intestines and shit, all that stuff is open. In this game, you could use your intestines as bombs. Just throw one of your intestines onto the battlefield and watch it explode. Yeah, like I said, this game is very weird, but I love it. I've been addicted to this game for the past couple of days. And one more ability I would like to mention is using your head as a bowling ball. As I've said earlier, this game has a strong comedic tone, and this is kind of funny, a little bit. Now, before we wrap things up, one last thing I would like to talk about is the game's soundtrack. Now, because this game's set in the 1950s, obviously going to be a lot of covers to a lot of popular, 1950 songs, like Mr. Sandman, Lollipop, There Goes My Baby, all that shit. Now, I gotta be honest, I love the game's soundtrack. I'm still listening to it to this day, even though I beat the game already. It's good. The only downside is the only time the music is used is during the main menu in one mission, and that's it. That is a lot of wasted potential. I don't even know why they got the rights to this song if they're only going to use it. It doesn't matter. Listen, if you can't play the game, at least listen to the soundtrack. Everything on there is good. It has this creepy eeriness to it, of course, because, it's a zombie game. Listen, give the soundtrack a shot. Now, would I recommend Stubbs the Zombie? Yes. This game is very different than your average, Left 4 Dead or Dead Island or anything like that. This game is just extremely underrated. But hey, luckily, it got sort of a re-release on modern consoles, so check that out. But of course, knowing who I am, I would recommend you play it on the original hardware. If it's possible for you to do so, get an original Xbox, get the game, have a good time. Do whatever you want to do. Play on original hardware, play the new release, it's your choice. Do whatever you want to do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. No rush, and tell me down below, what's your favorite zombie movie? Tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Make your own smoothie at home. Take an ice cream cream with thick fruits.
You still got the stick in your hand!